Democrats are vocalising their concern for the president as we get closer to the election. So far, Seth Moulton, Raul Grijalva, Lloyd Doggett, Mike Quigley and Angie Craig have said that they think he should step down, and there will be a meeting today as well held by Hakeem Jeffries on the same issue.
Yes, it was previously reported that as many as 25 Democrats were poised to call for Biden to drop out. For more, let's welcome in former Congressman Bob Barr, as well as the host of Off Limits with Ian Haworth. Ian Haworth, back again for the podcast, and Charles Love.
Charles Love's podcast. That's where we're getting confused there. Your podcast is Cut the Ball?
Cut the Ball, yeah.
Cut the Ball.
Many podcasts.
Yes, and our other one is Off Limits with Ian Haworth. There you go.
There we go.
So let's start with Congressman, okay? With Democrats telling Biden to step down, as we just discussed, what does that tell you about Biden's chances here, Congressman?
It simply tells us there are at least a few Democrats in a position of some responsibility who are willing to put country ahead of political party. The problem is that apparently still the vast majority of Democrats in the Congress and perhaps even in the executive branch continue to cling to the notion that party is more important than the country. To leave this man, Joe Biden, in the White House with his finger on the nuclear button when he clearly, by any rational observation, is not fit to serve as president is as gross an example of partisanship and party power as I have seen in my entire lifetime. It is awful to see what the Democrat Party is doing by putting their love to hold on to power ahead of the United States of America as a country.
Yep, I think that's something that many people are feeling very similar on that, Congressman.
Great point, Congressman. Ian, President Biden sat down with ABC News and was asked about getting a neurological test. Listen.
Have you had a full neurological and cognitive evaluation?
I get a full neurological test every day.
I know your doctor said he consulted with a neurologist. I guess I'm asking a slightly different question. Have you had the specific cognitive tests, and have you had a neurologist, a specialist, do an examination?
No one said I had to.
Ian, does that remark about neurological tests give any comfort to his followers and supporters?
I'm not really sure he could even say neurological at this point. So I think we're all staring down a pretty dark chasm right now as a country. I think the problem with Biden supporters is there are some people who are waking up to the reality that we've all been aware of since 2020. I know Newsmax have been reporting this for years at this point, and the entire media, outside of conservative media, and a lot of Democrats are finally waking up to something that's been obvious, is that Joe Biden is not mentally capable of the hardest job in the world. And he's making it even harder than it needs to be by only working between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. And so I think there are some Democrats who are finally waking up to this, but regardless, a lot of this isn't really about Joe Biden now. It's about the fact that none of this is new. This has all been Democrats trying to tell us not to believe our own lying eyes for years. And now, because he almost died on national TV during the debate, we all have to suddenly wake up to reality. It's crazy to me.
It is crazy to me, too, and it's crazy that people are only starting to notice this now, as you just mentioned, Ian, because, like you said, as you mentioned, it's the hardest job in the world. Why would anyone want to do that at 80 years old? Why aren't you, like, sipping a martini on the beach like everyone should be doing when they're 80? That's what I plan to be doing anyway. But, Charles, look, when it comes to the polls, things aren't looking good for President Biden as well. Like, according to Siena poll, New York Times poll, nearly half of Democrats and almost 70% of independent voters think that Biden should drop out of the race. And when you break it down by race, most Hispanic voters and nearly half of black voters say that he also should. So how do you think Democrats are going to react? How are they reacting to these numbers here?
Well, first, I'd like to say, if I may, At the start, you said that the Democrats are concerned about Biden. Let's be real. They're not concerned, right? Because if they were concerned, they wouldn't have propped him up like Weekend at Bernie's to begin with. What they're concerned about is losing to Trump. They want to do whatever they can to win. They don't really care about him. So they're going to react to the polls because whatever will help them win, that's what they want to do. So how will they react? Again, you're going to get growing numbers of people trying to push him out. He's going to fight back. He's going to try to resist it. I'm sure we'll talk about later what they would do if they replace him, because you got to replace him with somebody. But I think that they're panicking right now. I mean, they were losing a lot of minority votes before Biden fell off the stage. So I can only imagine that things are worse because people see it with their own eyes. So they have a serious problem.
All right, we are going to have to leave it there, but Charles, we'll have you back in a moment. Congressman Bob Barr, Ian Haworth, thank you both so much for joining us.